Yes, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. So we are going to be talking about some few things. Yeah. So first, I'll start talking about myself. Then, before we go into details about what we are to speak about today. So I'm Brian, and I live in Kayani. So as you can see, most of you guys have been seeing me actually on Instagram doing a lot of videos. So also have a YouTube channel, but I'm also doing videos on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, but I'm more focused on Instagram and YouTube lately. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about contract, how to see how you can get professional contract with a team and wherever you are. So, the first thing I would like to talk is we'll talk about the bullet points to cover. For example, how to get a professional contract. So, there are some certain things I wrote down that I'm going to be giving you guides on how you can get a contract. So first, we all know that before you get a professional contract or before you are playing football, you have to master the basics of football. And when we talk of mastering the basics of football, it's like your passing skills, your dribbling skills, and all the passing, dribbling, defending. If you're a defender, you learn how to defend well and you're playing with the team, or if you're midfielder, you learn how to pass. If you're an attacker, dribbling, shooting, everything. And also we talk about staying fit. So if you're staying fit, let's take for example, you have to always look after yourself because an injured player is not always an available player. So we look at things like how you can manage your body to stay fit and also try to look at stuffs that you can do to always maintain your fitness and to stay consistent on the highest level. So, but first, before we go into it, I live in Finland and actually I usually move around, especially in the summer. I was doing stuff like moving around, looking after football teams or trying to see what they offer and how they train, how the professionals train, what are their daily routine, and what are the things they do in order to adapt or to always stay consistent at the highest level. So, the first thing we are going to look at now is how do you get a professional contract? Let's take, for example, you are from Africa, you Asia, whatsoever, because I always know most people target is Europe. Most people always try to come to Europe to play professional football, and let's say we know the Mexican league, the Asian league, which is now like also up and coming. It's also a good market for players to go, but I think the main market is always the European market. But before you do target all those things, let's take for example, there are some things I'm going to try to give you guides on, like the agent stuff. Like for example, I give an example. This don't go if you're 16, 17 years, you don't have to think about professional contract now. Just try to play because 16, 17 years you cannot travel to Europe to play football now. So you have to be 18 years to be able to travel as a player. So let's take, for example, 16, 17. Of course, the laws in Europe is quite different. In EU is quite different. If the players have been signed in Europe by, let's take, for example, 16 to 18 years, you can sign a professional contract. But it depends also the law of that country because in football, I give an example. In Europe, in football, you can sign a professional contract from 16 years, depends the law of that country, to 18 years. Whereas those who live in other continents cannot move from, let's say, you cannot move from Asia to Europe when you're 16 years to sign a professional contract. You cannot sign a professional contract at that age. You must have certain contract. But while if you are European, you can sign that contract from 16 years to 18. So this message I'm about to pass I will not really be giving it to, like, I would not really encourage 16 years to hurriedly leave their countries or whatsoever age, except you know what you are doing, because it's quite it's quite a lot of things to put into your brain. So let's take example. Okay, so before getting a pro contract, what do you do then? What is your target? The first thing is, as we spoke, uh, before thinking of trying to play football at any club, you have to know you have to know how the market works. Let's take, for example, you have to have an agent. You have to or if you don't have an agent, you have to look for those ones. So this is what we are going to be talking of here. But before you have all those things, the first thing that you have to do is you have to keep yourself available. So you have to improve your technique. Let's take, for example, if you're a center back, you're a right back, you're a defender, you're a midfielder, whatsoever position you are, but you have to keep yourself fit and available. So let's take, for example, as a central back, do you have to do? You have to learn how to defend or do whatever, or whatever system your team is playing. You have to be always good and available. If you're a midfielder, you have to know how to pass the ball and do whatsoever to make the game moving. If you're a striker or winger, you have to learn how to score goal. So those were the basic things. For example, I'm not going to give you guys this today. Is not about how to play. It's just about how you can get a contract. So we'll move. So first, before we talk, I'll go into details. The next thing I'll be looking at is staying fit. So most players suffer with injuries. So you have to learn how to maintain your fitness also, because you never know when the chance come. You never know when the chance can come. You can have an option or an agent. The agent just tells you that okay, come for a trial or whatsoever. If you're not fit, you won't be ready. So the next thing also about fitness, we also look of your play competitive leagues, or if you're not even playing competitively, play something. Register with your local club or amateur club or whatsoever club it's there, but start playing something that you're competing. Don't sit home. I always tell people this one, players, do not sit home and always expect miracle. You cannot always contact a player or an agent and say contact someone and say you're fit, you're ready to go while you're home. Start to do things, start to join a team, play, train with people. It doesn't matter the level. When you're competing, you get better a little bit when you're competing with people. So that's the first thing I'll tell people, that start always competing. Do things that you can always compete with people, because that is very important. It's very important and necessary, because that is going to help you going ahead. Because the more you compete with people, the more you learn how things are being done, because you cannot learn when you're on your own. So that is important. So, and the next thing we have to look at is, most of you guys play a lot of football, but you have no CV. What I mean, you have no CV, you have no. If someone asks you that, okay, can you show me what's your CV? You have nothing like a paper to show your stats, everything. Those things are important, especially when your name is not registered, when you don't have the electronic transfer market where you can just send your name and someone types it and everything comes on. So the first thing I'll be saying is, as much as you're playing, learn to have a CV and a highlight video. So this highlight, what is a CV? A CV is a thing that contains all your information. It contains all your information, and it contains every bit of things that let me say, your name, your address, where you play, and everything. Just those basic things. Your age, your height. You need to have those that thing. That if someone always asks that, can you send my CV? You can send it. And also with your CV, there goes also something they call a highlight video. A highlight video can be a video of 3 to 5 minutes that you have registered when you're playing a game, showing your qualities. When I mean showing your qualities, which means showing your qualities, you can show how you're passing. If you're a midfielder, I give an example. If I'm a midfielder and I'm trying to make a highlight video to send to someone, I will be showing how, let me say, if I'm a defensive midfielder, how I can defend. I can always cut passing lane, and how I can maybe spray passes, or how I can always try to shield. Let me say, do like I always play like a CDM. Yeah. So those are the things I'll be trying to do. Like, do I have a good long ball to break the lines? Can I keep the ball in position when it's in tight spaces? So these are the things you have to be showing. And can you defend? So can you read the game properly? Because in the midfield you have to learn how to read the game. So that's an example. So your highlight video as a CDM has to contain all those things. It's same like a central midfielder. Your highlight video has to show how you're keeping possession of ball, you play 1-2s, how you can switch play, how you have vision of the game, and how your tactical awareness is, how you are scanning your shoulders, everything. And if you're a right back, you show how you can maybe go up and down, put crosses, and how you can defend 1v1 and how your speed. So all these things are very important. So this is what you have to do. You have to always think that this you have to always show your selling point, so that when the person sees the first thing, that it captivates him, he sees your selling point. So these are the things that when you're doing in your video or your highlight video, you have to put those things. So if you're a striker, you have to show your goals. If you're a right back, you have to show your qualities. If you're a left back, same to you. So each and every position has different things, but you have to show that quality, because that video is what is your selling point, because the person hasn't seen you playing. That's the thing that the person is going to use to actually, let me say, rate you. So that's very important, that you have a highlight video. And next thing I would say is build a strong online presence. We know actually the world today is a little bit is more mediatized these days, so you have to build a strong online presence. So always try to always learn. When you're playing a game, you can post it on your socials. After the game, you can post few pictures, everything. You never know who is checking your stuff. So try to always keep an online presence these days, because those things take you far. Because you never know if an agent is watching you or whosoever is watching you. That's how you build. And then also the next thing that we have to talk is participate in trials games. A lot of people are always so good, let me say, relax on their comfort zone. That's what I say, your comfort zone. So we take example. You see a player plays and he's training with his teammates. When they say there's a trial somewhere, he never wants to go there. They say there's a trial maybe at a higher level, he never wants to try because maybe he's scared or whatsoever. So what I would try to advise you is, or any player, what I would try to advise is, when you are going for trials, or if you're playing, always endeavor to search where is the next trial, so that you can go and try. Even if you fail, the failure you fail the first time is very important, because you must have learned how to how the trials work. So let's take for example, if I go for trials for a football club and I fail the first time, I already have an experience before going the second time. Someone who hasn't gone for that trials is actually zero. I am already at a little bit more advanced stage. So trials are very important things for players, that because I see most players, they play and they are scared when they say there's a trials at a big team, they don't want to go or somewhere else. It's very important, because you learn with your experience. That's why most of the time when I speak to players who are trying to come to Europe, I ask them, have you ever gone for trials before? They said no. So when they come, they receive a culture shock, because it's quite let me say, they're quite surprised. Oh, what am I going to do? How? Because when you go for trials, there's this thing I'm going to say. First, when you're going for trials, you don't know whether you're going to make it simple, play simple, or play how. So, because the most important thing when I always tell players when they're about to go for trials is, first, keep it simple in the first 5 minutes of your game. Keep it simple and basic. So, let's take, for example, if you're going for trials, let me say you're from Asia, Africa, or whatsoever, you are going for trials in a European country or Finland. Let's give an example. You're coming for trials in Finland. Finland is quite a cold place. So, it's always good to research those places first. But before you come for trials, you have to adapt. The first thing is, in the first 5 minutes, let's say you're a winger or whatsoever, keep it basic. Get the first ball, pass it, just pass, so that you get confidence in the game before you start moving. And what I always tell people is, also it's important to go for trials regularly, because when you go for trials, the more trials you go, the more you are experienced. And you don't get that anxiety, that panic attack, that okay, it's a trials, I'm scared, because you've already done it once. So it's important that when you are playing football, if you hear that there's a trials, try to put yourself, because I know it's difficult for most people, but put yourself, this is how you are going to gain confidence. So the next thing is, as I said, okay, trials, we have spoken of trials. Try to show yourself, try out. Even if it doesn't work the first time, it's already an experience done. You're already better than another person. Because I tell you, if you are going for trials, when you will be moving to Europe, you have already that a little bit of experience, that you did when you went for trials before. So you will not be too scared for it, because anybody coming to any team for a new, let's say for the beginning, you are on a trial. So whether you have a contract or whatsoever, you always have to showcase your talent. So that's why I say wherever you are, start playing any team you are. Try to show yourself. Don't always sit home and contact people and say, hey, you have been training, because that doesn't work. No agent is ever going to believe you that you're sitting home and playing. The agent believe people who are saying that, okay, I'm playing with a team, but this team is a lower level, it's at a lower level, and I hope to get better. That is a good statement than someone saying, when, because I have a lot of this situation when someone contacts me that, can you help me find a team in Finland where you are? I've seen you being around professionals. I say, okay. So the first question I ask the person is, okay, where are you playing now? He said, no, I have been training, but I'm home. What is that? If you have been training in your home, how do you expect me to believe you, or to believe you to take, let me see, your highlight videos and show it to a club here? So the first thing I always tell people is endeavor to train, endeavor to train and have a team. Try to train and have a team. Always put yourself into that situation to have a team. Train, improve yourself, and always try to put yourself in the market. If there's any trial, don't be scared, try to go. That's what is very important on this. So the next one I'll be talking is seek out a reliable football agent. So let's talk, for example, these days you have a lot of agents who are agents. They say they are agent, but they are not agent. So before you want to make sure you're talking one agent, see, you can try to ask him, excuse me, I am looking for a team, but I would like to ask you this question. This is what, because it's normal for the agent to tell you this. You have to ask the agent, is he a reliable agent? Does he have a license? Is he a licensed agent? So put this word, these are one of the most important things when you're talking to an agent. You have to know, is he a licensed agent? Because the way it is now in football, if someone is not a licensed agent, then it's not an agent, because everything is now very clean and clear. There's not more intermediary that FIFA used to say, okay, this your parents can represent you. No, even your parents are representing you. They must be licensed agents. So everything that goes in according to FIFA rules is you must be a licensed agent to represent someone. So you as a player, it's also your responsibility to know whether that person is a licensed agent. So each time you try to contact an agent, you have to ask, please excuse me, I'm looking for a team, whatever you want to say. The next thing you have to ask is, before you go further, please, are you a licensed agent? You have to ask that. It's very important, because you cannot, if you're working with someone who's not a licensed agent, he's never going to take you somewhere, because he's going because it except you will just be wasting your time. So always try to ask, are you a licensed agent? Except that individual say he's working with an agent, that he's just looking for players for an agency. That can be something different, but always try to ask this question. So the next thing I would say, network. When you network with coaches and scouts, when we say so when you're playing with in a team, you have teammates, you have coaches who always have network somewhere, but maybe because you are not also always, let me say, trying to know things, they don't always, let me say, speak to you. One of the things that I always discovered also is that coaches also have a lot of network. I give an example. You can be playing with a team, and this coach has a friend who is a coach for another team. So if you know you are doing good in your team, you can always ask your feedback from your coach or the coaches around and say, okay, I'm playing here, but one day I hope to play at a much higher level. What do you think? Do you have any connection or whatsoever? Simple. It doesn't matter whatsoever. So these are the tips that I will keep telling you, that try to always find out this kind of basic tips. They are very important. And also the next thing I would say, be open to starting small. Another next thing, be open to starting small. When you're a player, is not every player starts big. Be open to starting small. What I mean by be open to starting small is start at the level you are. Don't sit home. No matter if it's a fifth division, sixth division, don't sit home. Try to play no matter whatever level it is, play. So if it's a low level, keep starting start from there, because that's the beginning. From there, if you are better, you're going to improve to the next level, to the next level. So that's why I say don't sit home, start from where you are. It's important. Every player, no, not everybody is going to start at the top. Some starts very low. I'll give an example. You hear players like Drogba that signed a professional contract at 21. That people sign at 16. So not everyone is different. So the players also, Jimmy Vardy, who plays in the Premier League, I don't know if he did he sign his first professional contract at 24 or whatsoever 22. So each player is different. So always start from somewhere. And someone like Vardy, he started non-league football. He was playing at a very low level of English football, but he moved himself up the ladder and he's playing the Premier League. So you see, everybody's journey is different. It's different. Some people come from Spain, some people come from Africa, some people come from Europe, some people come from Australia. Your journey is different. So always start from somewhere. Don't sit home. That's the thing I'll tell you. Yes, but start at your level. Then from there you can always improve. The level you are, there's one thing I'll say. If you feel that level is too easy for you, do videos of that level, and when you send it to the next level, they'll accept you. That's the basic thing. So also, there's one thing that I'll talk of is adapt your playing style to the market. What I mean adapt your playing style to the market is, let's take for example, if you're a midfielder and you discover that you want to get easy tries, excuse me, you want to get uh easy, you want to move up the ladder or you want to sign a professional contract easily, adapt yourself in play many positions because you might risk for your trials and there are many right backs in your position that are maybe higher up better than you. If you can play in the midfield, you take that position and start playing. So it's always good to learn a little bit of ideas about what the other positions are. If you're a winger, learn to also know that okay, how does the midfield or the number 10 position function, or how does the striker position function? Give yourself more options. So this is how you improve yourself. Give yourself more options so that you can always have chances. It's very important that you maximize your chance so that when your chance arrive, you're there to take it. That's why I call adapt your playing style. And we look at also uh, most players when they sign, let me say when they are playing and when they have an agent they sign, they don't know whatever they sign with an agent. So there's this one tip I know. Okay, players they don't pay a lot of attention to what we call, let me say, when they are working with agent, they just say my agent is going to handle everything. But there's one tip I'm going to tell you. Your agent has the right to sign maximum a 2 years contract with you. He cannot sign a 5 years contract with you. So these are little bit of tips that you have to know, that when working on an agent, if an agent tells you that and he sees that you're a good player, maybe he wants to exploit you and he say, okay, no, I am going to be signing, we're going to sign a 5 years contract. No, it doesn't work like that. It's 2 years and after you can renew it. So these are just small tips that you can keep. That if any agent tells you that he's about to sign a 5 years contract with you, it doesn't work. That's a fake agent. So you have to be aware of these things, that the maximum time or maximum duration your agent can sign a contract with you is 2 years. Then before he can renew it. So these are the little bit of things you have to know. And the next thing that we'll talk about is your mental focus or your mental toughness. As a player, you're going to go through a lot of challenges. Believe me, that sometimes you're going to play, the game is going to be difficult, you're going to come home, you're going to cry, you're going to do everything, but everything is up here. You have to prepare your brain because there are times you're going to go to a country which is much colder than where you left, or that time you're going to go to a country which is much hotter than where you left before. So try to be mentally tough. Prepare your brain because those who make it at the top have a lot of challenges. You see them on TV, you see them, people interviewed, talk to them, but what they do on a daily basis, they have prepared their brain that they want to challenge themselves. So they try to be mentally tough and prepare their brain for the challenges ahead. I give an example. When I went this summer, I was watching a young 16, is it 17 years old? Because yes, I interviewed him actually. He's a professional player. He plays for a team in Finland here actually, that I usually go and watch their training and their trials or their training methods, how they train. This is quite young, 17 years. So the first question, I'm going to actually post that video on these days, or if not today, tomorrow. What when I spoke to the young player, he's a professional player. So one of the questions I asked him is, because he plays in the defensive midfield position, I was telling him that he's quite young, and how does he cope with the pressure And he told me that he has been preparing himself since the age of 12, 11 to deal with pressure to play at the first team football, because now he's 17 years and he's playing first team football. Quite tough. He never loses the ball on the field, and he has a bright future because he never loses the ball for his age. You know, when you bring someone to the first team, the first thing people think is, okay, he's quite young, he's going to make mistakes. But the position he plays is not a position that you can make mistake to play a defensive role at quite a young age. So he's really, really a good talent that hopefully we're going to see on at the highest level playing Premier League football, because his dream is to play Premier League. Because when I interviewed him, he said his aim is to play Premier League football and his role model is Rodri. So let's see how it goes with him. But yes, what I'm just trying to say is that always prepare yourself that you can face challenges ahead. Try to adapt to those challenges, because challenges are always a sign and symptoms that you're moving towards the right direction. So it's good to prepare yourself towards that, because football, as much as it has a lot of, let me say, freedom, you travel a lot, you get a lot of good finance, you live happily, but also you have to be mentally resilient to be able to cope with the pressure from the fans and everything. So the next thing I also say is, when traveling to trials to a country, try to find few keywords of that country. Let's take for example, if you're going to do trials in, let's say, a country like Spain, learn just few keywords. Start by learning the language. If you know everything, is just learn few words that you can say hello and everything. Those things are very key things when you move for trials. Those are the things that I used to help me when I moved to a different country or whatsoever. The first thing you try to learn, you learn the language, or not the language, you learn some basics like how are you, hello, those kind of words. Those things help you integrate during the trial period. For example, if you move to a country, let's take for example, if you're going for a trial in Spain, and you just learn what, like how to say hello, how are you try to master those one or two things, so that when you reach there, when during the trial you can try to create even a connection with someone just by talking on field in the field. This is going to make you at least feel and at ease, that because when talking creating that connection, that person can always, let me say, give you one or two ideas, try to talk to you, okay, be careful, someone is coming, watch your back. He can try to guide you, because you are trying to communicate with him. So it's always good to learn one or few words in certain languages when you're going for trials, because that can help you go a long way. So, and also the next thing I'm going to be talking, never stop learning. Football is a game that you improve every day. So if you're a midfielder, try to learn how to improve your passing. If you are, if well, football, everybody has to improve their passing, but you know what I'm saying. If you're a midfielder, try to improve a lot of things in your game. If you're a winger, do the same, whether you're improving your 1v1. If you're a striker, learn how to do a lot of shooting drills. If you're a defender, learn how maybe to defend or play from the back. Everything, just try to improve your game. That's this basic thing I always do. I always get a ball. I always get the ball, go out when I'm trying, when, if I want to improve, let me say, a first touch drill, or I'm trying to show people this is how you improve your first touch drill. You put a wall and hit the ball on that wall. When it comes, you receive. It looks simple, but it's very effective drills, because the more you receive that ball, it's going to help improve your pass. So find things that can always improve your game. These things are quite very, very helpful, so that when you get your opportunity, you take it with big chance. When you get an opportunity maybe to go for trials, you don't go panic because maybe your ball position is so poor, or whether you are scared, you're panic because you don't have a good touch, all these things. So, and also, if for those playing, let's say international, let me say under 17 for their countries and everything, that's also a big thing for you, because let's say if you were playing, let me say at under 17 or whatsoever under 18 for your country, it's also quite important that you always keep your videos, your little videos, because when you go for under 17 or under 18 national selection, they always video those games. So always try to ask, let's say, the people who are in charge of the video, that can you have a video of yourself of that game, because there you can it can help you. When you keep that video, you can help edit it, and then you send it you put it as your 3 minutes or 3 to 5 minute highlight video. When someone asks you that, do you have a video that we can see your quality, you can send that video. So overall, those are the basic main things I had to give you guys. But first, as I said, let me put a roundup on this. To get a professional contract in Europe, you have to look at all these things. I've just given you like 15 tips on how to get what to do. So to round it up, I'll say first, put yourself in shape always. Train, work hard, and don't stay home. Always, even if you're playing in a fifth division in your country, it doesn't matter. Try to play, be competitive, and every level you're competing, everyone has an Android phone this day, or everyone has a phone that can record videos. You don't have to have a fancy camera. Try to have a highlight video. That's what is very important. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you can send me a video, or you can send me your highlight video. I'm going to tell you that is this good for the clubs in Europe to be able to sign you or whatsoever. Anything that you need, you can ask the information. I'll try to leave you an answer if I see your question. But anyways, that was it for trying to get a professional contract. And also, I'll try to leave also the video that I'll try to leave a video of the player. I said I interviewed the professional player in the summer, because last summer I was doing a lot of things, movement. I was actually going to this because I live in the North Finland. I live in North Finland, so I was moving to different cities, especially in the north. Also, like there's a city here called Kuopio. I moved to the city. I was traveling to see how the team, or a professional team in Kuopio, that trains and how it managed its players. Or let's take for example how you prepare for the games. So I was a lot of time with them to see how the professionals react firsthand after training or before training, whatever they do. So I also had time to speak with a lot of people at the club, and also people managing their games. So it was quite a good experience, and I'll be doing those things a lot also in the future. But anyways, this is what we will. This is how we start today. And any question, I can always pop up and ask you guys. Or if you want any question, or if you have any question, leave it in the comment below. I will drop you guys a message. Thanks, guys. Yeah, cheers. And a question: how can I reach my top potential before going for these trials? Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. Okay. Pechonja Suli, he's gone. He's gone. Okay. But anyways, it was nice talking to you guys. So let's keep this going, and I'll talk to you guys another time. See you. Take care. Bye.